If you've ever taught, you know that designing a course is one of the most creative things you can do. But let's be honest, it can also be one of the most draining. Well, today, we're going to look at how AI is stepping onto the scene, not as a replacement, but as a brand new kind of assistant that's completely changing how educators get things done. Let's dive in.
And you can really see the difference when you put the two methods side by side. You've got the old way, building everything from scratch, which gets super repetitive and often leads to a one-size-fits-all course. But then there's the AI way, which is just fundamentally different. It's iterative, it's adaptive, and it's all about personalization. This isn't just a small adjustment, it's a total rethink of the whole process. And any educator listening will know this feeling all too well, the creative burden. You know, that feeling when you're excited to create something amazing, but you're just staring at a blank page. A blank syllabus can be, well, pretty overwhelming. I mean, the traditional to-do list is just massive. You're crafting syllabi, you're prepping dozens, sometimes hundreds of slides, and you're rating every single assignment yourself. And here's the thing, all that work is super important, but it takes a ton of time and can burn you out before the class even starts. But this is where the story takes a turn. This is where the AI assistant comes in. And that subtitle is really the key to everything. This is a partner, not a replacement. The goal here is collaboration, not just handing over the keys.
Now, this brings up the biggest fear we hear all the time. Am I going to lose control? But the research on this is pretty clear. With generative AI, the kind of AI that can actually create new things like lesson plans, the educator does not lose control. Actually, it's pretty much the opposite.
They gain a powerful assistant, and that just nails it, right? It perfectly describes this new relationship. It's not about giving up your expertise or your vision for the class. No way. It's about getting a tireless partner to help you bring that vision to life way more effectively.
So, what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it opens up a whole new way to plan your lessons. It's not this static thing you do once at the beginning of the year. Instead, it becomes this dynamic, responsive process that you can actually change and adapt as you go. This new workflow is kind of like a three-step loop. First, the instructor gets a draft from the AI, just to beat that blank page problem. Second, and this is the most important part, the instructor refines it. You use your expertise to shape it and make sure it fits your goals. And finally, the AI can help personalize it for different kinds of learners. But the key is, the educator is always the architect, always the one in charge. And that personalization step is where things get really exciting. All of a sudden, it's so much easier to reach students with different learning styles. The AI can whip up visual explanations for your visual learners, or find interactive exercises for the hands-on learners, or even pull up case studies for students who need to see how it all applies in the real world. It's about building a more inclusive classroom for everybody. When you put all this together, it really points to a huge evolution in the educator's role. It's a massive shift from being what you might call a producer to becoming a designer.
So, the old model, the producer, that's where you're basically creating every single thing from the ground up. Every syllabus, every slide, every assignment.
But this new model positions the educator as a designer. Your job becomes more about selecting the best materials, adapting them, and orchestrating this amazing learning experience for your students. It's a much more strategic role, and you could argue a much more impactful one. And this brings us to what's probably the most important point of this whole conversation. The goal of using AI in course design isn't just about making the job easier. The true value is making the teaching itself better. The research behind this idea frames it perfectly. It starts with this thought. When educators spend less time reinventing the wheel, they can devote more time to what really matters. And that right there is the whole game. It's about strategically reallocating an educator's most precious resource, their time and their attention. So, what are those things that really matter? Well, it's more time for actually engaging with students one-on-one. It's more mental energy to foster real critical thinking in the classroom. And it's more focus on guiding that uniquely human journey of learning. The stuff that no AI could ever replace. So here it is, the ultimate takeaway. All of these changes, all of this tech, it all serves one big purpose. The goal isn't just to make teaching easier, it's to make teaching better. It's about improving the quality of education and deepening that human experience of learning. So, we want to leave you with one final question to think about. These tools are going to get better and better at handling the what, the content, the slides, the first drafts. And that frees you, the educator, to become a master of the how and the who. So the question for all of us is this: if AI can help build the course, how will you build the class?